some Ivermore's movie, and it looks like one of the women was finally told them to change the blood levels and tell parents something that was not correct when they were all high. And that woman was afraid, understandably, because it's like the job. And that's something new.
Right. I haven't seen the movie, but none of that surprises me, to be honest with you. And I just want to say before Mayor Weaver leaves, if she has to be out of the way, I want to say one last thing. I want to work with your mayor, okay? She is your elected leader, and she deserves to have a partnership with the Attorney General, working with her every day and working with her staff to make certain that the people of this city are properly served. So thank you for coming, and thank you for your support, and I really look forward to the opportunity to work with you. So that doesn't surprise me. I think there's a lot of people that were put in that position and that were, made to give false answers. I mean, God knows how many times that really occurred, right? And I struggle with the thought that there were these government actors that, no question, right, unquestionably understood and knew that the water that was being delivered was unsafe to drink and told people that it was safe anyway. And I don't know, I can't imagine, people need to have their jobs, I understand people have to feed their families, but how do you sleep at night? Knowing that babies are being poisoned, and that you're part of the problem. And that's something we have to find out from the investigation. The people who are criminally liable need to be held accountable.
For a long time, we've had different politicians coming to the city, telling us what the man is doing. And most of them is office and tell us what we're doing. And say that you be like trust has been taken, especially with one of them. One of the questions is that you signed a pledge back in 1994 when the Republicans signed a contract with America. Plus, they signed a pledge with the NRA for taxes and gun control.
I will not sign either of those pledges, just so you know.
No, not that one. But a pledge saying that you will pursue the people that were involved in the water crisis, no matter what it is, as far as Democrat, Republican, you had Democrats here in Flint that were part of us, plus we had Republicans, so they were working together. So no matter what, that you pursue all and any persons that was involved in that. And the second part is veterans with PTSD. No AG has ever went back to look at the veterans that came home with PTSD, and they did something. They just started veteran court. No one has went back to the judicial system to see how many veterans were locked up because of their PTSD. At the federal level, they have what we call a damage structure, where the veteran has a chance to get out. But you also look into trying to go back and look at veterans that have PTSD.
So let me answer your second question first about veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I represented a large number of veterans who were in combat situations and clearly were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And I don't mean just Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean people going all the way back to the Vietnam War. Some really tragic cases that would make me weep. And I'm very grateful for the fact that we do have Veterans Court now. We need to have Veterans Court, in my opinion, in every single jurisdiction of the state. Not just some jurisdictions, all jurisdictions. And it's important for us to understand that. This is on a different topic, but I do support Proposal 1. And part of the reason why it's so important is some of that money, the tax on marijuana will go towards helping to treat veterans suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. But what I think is critically important is, first of all, that people who have suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, I would be willing to work with the legislature If we wanted to do something, for instance, to expand expungement laws, which I support on a variety of different levels. Let me just give you some examples since I brought it up. I support eliminating the restriction that you can't have something expunged from your record if it's under the motor vehicle code. So there's a lot of people out there, you can get an unarmed robbery, and you can get, an assault with intent to do great bodily harm expunged from your record, but not a driving while license suspended case, and not a no public observance case. And you know why? Because the insurance companies, the auto insurance companies, wrote the laws because they have bought and paid for the state legislature, and it interferes with people's ability to get other types of convictions expunged. But what I would support is this. I would support working with the legislature to actually redefine some of the expungement laws, to broaden them, to allow expungements for people who committed crimes when it's understood that they were suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. And if nowadays they would have gone through veterans court and been diverted away from the criminal justice system, why not reevaluate those cases and allow them to bring a case to say, I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, and had we had this court in place, then I would have been permitted to get diverted away from this felony conviction. That is something that I would support, and I would like to work with the legislature to do that. On your first question is this. To me, here is my pledge. I need to take an oath of office when I'm sworn in to uphold the law. And that means all laws, and that includes, of course, enforcing the criminal code involving the Flint water cases. And the thing is, it's not worth the paper that it's written on. If it's somebody you can't trust, maybe I can say this. If you don't trust politicians who come in here, you don't trust me, I get it. I wouldn't trust me either. I would trust anybody if I was a resident of the city of Flint. And so I think what you have to do is this, you have to sort of listen to what people have to say. You have to maybe look a little bit at their background. I'm a person, I've never represented a CEO. I've never represented a corporation. I've never represented a wealthy person. I have exclusively represented working class people and poor people. And I would like to think that I took a case all the way to the United States Supreme Court and I won it. So I like to think I could get a job at a fancy silk stocking law firm if I wanted to do that. But what I wanted to do instead was help people who needed it, because that was the only way that I felt I could sleep at night. And so I guess I hope that you'll look at my work that I've done throughout the course of my career and understand that I really am running for office because I am determined to help people who need it. And if I only get 4 years in this office, if I get elected and I do stuff that pisses a whole lot of people off and they don't want to re-elect me, but the one thing I accomplish is this: justice for the people who live in this city. If that's all I do, I will walk away with my head held high, and I will know that I accomplished something incredibly important. And that is a huge priority to me, and all I can do is tell you that I intend to do absolutely everything within my power to help the people of Flint and to fight as aggressively and as tenaciously as possible on your behalf, and that I won't rest. I won't rest until I know that I've done everything personally that I can do to help people who live here. So that is my pledge.
Hi, Dana. Obviously, it's apparent you're familiar with the problem. My question is, once that passes, what will you do in the process of exonerating our brothers and sisters of minority communities that have been locked up at the same time rates and the same time?
Right, so of the many reasons that I support Proposition 1, which of course would legalize recreational marijuana in our state, I I support it for a number of reasons. I do believe that the war on marijuana has been an abject failure. I am horrified at the fact that people of color, on average, get locked up 4 to 10 times as often, depending on what community you use, for marijuana offenses than their Caucasian counterparts. And, you know, I know I have seen so many injustices done as a result of the war on marijuana, and I think it's time for it to end. And I think it's time that we took the hundreds of millions of dollars that we spend testing and investigating and prosecuting those cases, and that's money that could be spent elsewhere. For instance, it could be spent helping people here in the city of Flint who need that help, right?
Yeah.
And who need that help in other ways other than seeing people get locked up. And who maybe could use some of those taxes as well, right? Taxes that are going to go towards the roads, go towards our schools, go towards our local communities. So, you know, that is very important, but what happens when that passes to the people who are locked up for offenses that now are perfectly legal under the law? Well, firstly, I would want to work with our new governor, Governor Whitmer. I want to take the law in on the first day of my tenure as Attorney General and her first day of governor and have a list of everyone who is locked up in jail or prison or is actually under a probationary sentence, and have that list and say, each one of these people, if it's for a marijuana alone offense, they need to have their sentences commuted immediately. And that means that they stop serving their sentence immediately. If they're in jail or they're in the Michigan Department of Corrections, they need to be released. And it also means the people on probation that they don't have to report anymore and their sentence at that point is terminated. Now, what do we do with people who have these convictions? So maybe they're not serving their sentence anymore. Well, a couple things I'd like to do. And I have to work with the state legislature for this. You know, I am going to be enforcing the law, but I'm not going to be making the law. So this means I have to be an advocate. And I have to use the bully pulpit to talk about why this is important. But what I want to do is for anybody who was convicted of simple possession of marijuana, it's a 1-year misdemeanor, I don't want people to get expungements. I don't want them to have to go through that process. That's a difficult process. And by the way, I do want to have a department of the office that actually assists people so that they can obtain expungements and they understand how to do it, they know if they're eligible or not, and people can assist them in that process so they can get their records cleared up because it's holding too many people back. But I want to be able to just literally have the law changed so you take the PAT code, is what it's called, and it gets entered right into the LEAD, the Law Enforcement Information Network, and immediately all of those convictions are immediately wiped out of the computer system on possession of marijuana cases so that you don't actually have to do anything. You don't have to go to court. You don't have to fill out the forms. You don't have to pay the fee and get fingerprinted and all the rest of it. Those convictions simply disappear. And they're doing that in other states. For felonies, I think it's probably important that we still have a process to evaluate them, but to allow for expungements as long as they meet certain criteria. So that's my impression of what we need to do with these offenses. There are so many people walking around with these convictions. They can't get jobs. They can't get housing. They are denied educational opportunities. And I think it's time for us to move past all that and allow people to have the opportunity to move on with their lives.
Thanks, Dana. You know, I'm going to come to you from a public health perspective. But I want to kind of piggyback off of the topic you just talked about. So you were talking about the marijuana cases. How can you, as AG, advocate for equity as it relates to those in the early 2000s, mid-2000s, and 90s who were convicted of crack cocaine and how it was then a criminal justice issue as opposed to the opioid issue that's happening now, and now that's a mental health issue. And we know that there are demographics that are linked to those certain different substances. And we see this in inner cities all the time, and we see this in the community. And so in the, those that were doing crack were predominantly people of color, and they were locked up. But those that were doing opioids were not people of color, and it's now a big mental health issue. And I think all of them are issues that need some type of mental health intervention and not the criminal justice system. So how can you as AG push for equity in that case?
Well, I agree with you. Firstly, let's start with that. And I think that those cases were handled improperly. And we know that in retrospect, for certain. I think that we can learn from it in terms of how we handle the opioid cases. If you're suggesting that the opioid epidemic is being handled differently than the crack epidemic because this affects white people too, you are correct. I mean, I think there's no doubt about that. So in terms of the opioid epidemic right now, again, I think we cannot arrest our way out of this problem. We have to treat this problem. And that involves, again, it involves specialty courts, it involves diversionary programs, and it involves lots of treatment. But here's what else it involves. It involves going after the drug companies, like all the other states are doing. Understanding how addictive they were, and understanding how dangerous they were, and putting them on the market anyway because they knew they were going to make billions and billions of dollars, which they did. And so in other states, of course, you have AGs that have sued these pharmaceutical companies, and they're getting gigantic settlements, and they are using those settlements to pay for drug treatment, and to pay for specialty courts, and to pay for emergency services that our communities are having to absorb, and to pay for Narcan and Naxalone and all of the anti-overdose products. So for now, what we need to do is take those. We know, by the way, the opioids, they affect all communities. They affect white people, they affect communities of color, they affect rich people, they affect poor people. So we need to learn from the past and handle those correctly, for certain. In terms of how do we rectify the past? What do we need to do? Well, I know that the federal court, of course, they changed the sentencing structure so that powder cocaine is treated the same as crack cocaine, and crack cocaine is not treated disparately, which we know had a disparate impact on communities of color, right, and defendants of color. All I can suggest is this, is that we need to have a government in place that's willing to explore, again, expanding expungement laws to allow for people to have convictions removed from their record, and to maybe even reevaluate some of those convictions. I wish I could say I could do everything as AG. All I can do is I can, when it comes to changing the law, advocate for what is fair and what is just. And I think that second chances are really important, especially when people have changed their lives and it's clear that they've rehabilitated themselves. But more so, we have to give people the opportunity to rehabilitate themselves. And that means making certain that we have educational programs in place. It means having job training in place. It means giving people a chance so that they can do something else that doesn't involve the distribution of illegal narcotics, and not having that be the only thing that they can do to be able to feed themselves. And that's why I want to be the strongest advocate for that, and that's why I think having somebody, again, who's worked both at the prosecutor's table, but also at the defense table is important, because it's important. It's important to understand where people have come from, so that we can understand where they need to be and where they need to go, and how we can best get them there. And again, I go back to where I started with, which is, if you want to make certain that you have less crime, and you have a crime deterrent here in the state of Michigan, then get the damn lead out of the water. Because that is as responsible. You go into prisons in this state, you go into the Michigan Department of Corrections, and you find out what percentage of those prisoners, when they were kids, either drank lead or ate lead, and it's a very substantial portion. So you want to prevent crime, you want to be a crime fighter, then you'd be a lead fighter as well.
We've got about 5 minutes before we wrap it up.
For 8 years, environmental laws have not been prosecuted. Corporate entities have gotten off soft. Do you have an organization within your AG office that deals specifically with looking at environmental catastrophes, if you will, and making polluters actually pay?
I will tell you right now that I can assure you that we will have the strongest environmental protection unit of any AG's office that we have in the country, because that is, to me, an incredible priority. And I say this, if you don't have clean water to drink and clean air to breathe, then you don't have anything, right? You have nothing at all. And where do you know that better than in the city of Flint? And so I'm talking about so many things that I want to do. I'm going to come to you in just 1 second. I want to make certain whether it is shutting down 5, whether it's going after chemical manufacturers who have disseminated PFAS all around the state, whether it's going after some of these oil refineries or steel refineries or incinerators that the AG has actually been working with hand in hand for years to grant them permits, to allow them to pump accelerated levels of toxins into our air and water. We need to start holding these companies accountable. And that means this is so easy, so easy. Just abide by the law. And we have to make certain, if you can't put a gun to somebody's head and rob them, if you're going to be prosecuted for that, why aren't you going to be prosecuted for poisoning people's air and people's water? I mean, it's crazy to me. Just enforce the law. We haven't had an AG that cares about enforcing consumer protection laws and environmental laws and all different kinds of laws, because that would involve holding businesses accountable and large corporations accountable. And that's been something that the Republicans have been wholly unwilling to do, because those companies are gigantic donors to the Republican Party. And that's why we have not been held accountable. And again, this is not being anti-business. It's not. It's just having everybody play by the rules, because you don't want a situation where, the good actors in the business community are actually penalized because they're obeying the law, right? We just want everyone to follow the law. And when I take office, the first thing I'm going to say is, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, and everybody is going to be held accountable if you violate the law. And if you do violate the law, I'm coming for you.
Yes, once you're sworn in, I definitely will come work for you. I'm a returning citizen, and out of your office, I've been home over 18 years, and I've had a total difficult time finding gainful employment, even though I'm a college grad. The one thing that I'm really concerned about your office can really do, because the coalition to crime and how to fight crime is about jobs and job opportunities. And also, when we look at the lottery system, there's not been a forensic study as far as where that money is going to. And I'm hoping that your office will spearhead that, because especially locally in Michigan, I'm in the public school system, there's a lot of mentoring. And a lot of times when we go for funding, they're saying there's no money for the job where we're like trying to be like steering the dash to a lot of these young people. And they always come to us and say, there's no dollars to help us to further stopping this madness in our community. So a forensic study on that money, the lottery, where the lottery takes in and how it's supposed to dab it out, would be something that I'm hoping that your office will look into, and also me being a part of the administration that you're sworn in.
Well, I agree with you, and I have to say this. This is an office, right? The Office of Attorney General, which is charged with the responsibility of investigating and prosecuting public corruption. And yet, I would say it is the most publicly corrupt office that we have ever seen as the Office of Justice. How can you trust the law and be willing to hold everybody accountable. And what I've said about my Republican opponent is this: you cannot be anti-government corruption and pro-Donald Trump at the same time, because those things are mutually exclusive. So what I will say is this: I am absolutely willing to investigate where the lottery funds are going. If that is brought to my office, absolutely, I will investigate it. I will investigate any matter that is brought to my office, and I will say, I don't care if you got a D next to your name, or an R next to your name, or who you are, I will make certain that there is a proper and ethical and responsible investigation done. And if there are people that need to be held accountable, then so be it. I don't let the chips fall where they may. It's about responsible ethics. And that's what this office is. We need to bring integrity back to the office of Attorney General. People have to be able to trust their government once again. And when you have an issue like that, you can go to the office of Attorney General and know that it's going to be properly vetted.
Yep, we're gonna do one here, and then we're gonna come back here, and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Dana, in the past, our Attorney General went to the Supreme Court, and he argued against recognizing gay marriage.
I recall that.
When he was asked, why are you doing it? Why are you spending taxpayers' money? He said, I'm representing the will of the people, because people did vote that way. And I respected that. Even though I didn't agree with it, I respected that. But since then, we've got the emergency financial law. Which means the law. The people voted it down, the legislature passed their own law. The AG said. Then we've had the state ticket voted it. Twice the people said we want to retain it. The legislature now has passed it. And he's taken legislative side against the will of the people. We need an AG that will fight for democracy and fight for the will of the people.
So let me say this, okay? Because I truly believe in fighting for the will of the people when it does not violate the United States Constitution and the Michigan Constitution. And that means this: you can't pass laws that are only there for one reason only, and that is to discriminate against a specific class of people. And that's why the ban on same-sex marriage in Michigan was unconstitutional, and that's why there were AGs all over the country, including places like, Kentucky and Pennsylvania, who refused to defend it because there was no reason that you could articulate that you should have such a law except for discriminating against a group, an unfavored class of people. But that's not the case with those other laws that you're talking about right there. And so I have definitely said that if the legislature passes laws that are flagrantly unconstitutional, as they sometimes do, and I'll give you one for instance, right? The effort to rob teachers of 3% pension money. A flagrant violation of the Michigan Constitution, but that didn't stop Bill Schuette from defending it, did it? And maybe it's time we had an AG that stood up to the state legislature and said, when it's so visible, the misconduct and the violation of constitutional edicts, maybe it's time we had an AG who said, I will not spend the taxpayers' dollars, and spend millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to defend laws that everyone knows are unconstitutional. And for instance, that teacher's pension ruling 0-7 in the Supreme Court, the Michigan Supreme Court, including every single Snyder appointee. 5 Snyder appointee judges agreed with the teachers. And so all that money was wasted. We only would have had an AG who said, by the way, this is totally unconstitutional. You're on your own, state legislature. You're on your own, Governor Snyder, because I'm not going to waste the taxpayers' money. But I agree with what you're saying. Certainly Schuette has picked and chose where he decided to defend and where he decided not to defend those laws. And it certainly had nothing to do with the constitutionality of them. It had to do with his political viewpoint. And that's some of the thing that I'm horrified by, the fact that you can just take anything, and despite the fact that it's contrary to the clear will of the people, if you add some sort of financial provision to it, all of a sudden now the voters can't do anything about it, and I disagree with that, and I think it needs to be changed.
This is how to do it. I got the A part, she got the B. Senior citizens are often targeted for scams, especially those that come on the phone across state lines. What can the AG do do about going after and prosecuting those folks that are actually preying upon vulnerable seniors?
Yeah, well, time was, we had a great consumer protection division of the AG's office back under Frank Kelly, you might remember, that we probably had the most robust consumer protection division anywhere in the country. And I intend to restore it to its proper place and to make certain that vulnerable communities like seniors and like veterans are properly protected. There is a lot you can do. And in fact, there are AGs that go after those companies all the time. We just don't happen to have one of those in office, so we forget what it's like. I'll give you another example. Seniors are often the victim of identity theft. It happens all the time to everybody, but it happens especially to seniors. We need to have a division in that office that is there just to help people when they've been scammed, not just to go after the bad actors, but to help restore people's credit, and so that when people have been victimized, they can go to their AG and know that their AG will provide this service of helping to review their credit with them, helping to go through the mechanisms with them. You don't even have to pay for lawyers for this. You can have people who have just been specially trained, non-lawyers, to assist people so that people know where to go. Because people don't know what to do when they get their identity stolen and when their credit has been ruined. And so we need to have this service again. Let's go back to the time where you paid taxes to the government so that they would provide you with a service, right? And this is a service they ought to be providing. And I will have a division of the office that does exactly that. And we'll use the settlements, by the way, from those lawsuits, going after those companies to fund this division so that we're not using tax dollars for it. We're using the money from the settlements from the businesses that I've sued who have committed these transgressions. And there's case after case after case after case that other AGs around the country have brought similar to the one you just described. We just can't get our Attorney General to do anything about it because those are not his donors, and the businesses sometimes that are engaging in that fraud are.
Thank you, Attorney Nessel, for your inspiring presentation today. I have two quick questions. One, how do you pay the highest water bills in the nation when you are surrounded by 21% of the world's fresh water? Somebody need to answer that question. The second question is this. We're glad that the gerrymandering issues and the movement to expand voting rights, the quick vote, instant voting and all that, and it's